Welcome to MysteryVerse. Have you ever made a decision that changed your life completely? Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the life you planned is no longer possible. No money, no job, no one to help you. But then something unexpected happens. A simple decision leads to a mysterious discovery, and that discovery changes everything. Today, you're going to listen to an exciting English story while learning useful vocabulary, natural expressions, and everyday English. So listen carefully. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Just listen, follow the story. Learn the vocabulary and repeat the important sentences. Let's begin. The Mystery of the Old House. It was a cold Monday morning. Daniel stood beside his bedroom window and looked outside. The sky was dark and heavy rain was falling. He had been awake all night. For the past 3 months, Daniel had been looking for a job. He had sent dozens of applications, attended several interviews, and waited patiently for someone to call him. But nobody did. His savings were almost finished. He looked at his phone. There was only one message. It was from his landlord. Daniel opened the message slowly. Daniel, please remember that your rent is due tomorrow. Daniel Siged. He put the phone on the table. What am I going to do? Whispered. He felt completely lost. T'es-tu dans lit, Fung? It was his grandmother. Daniel answered. Hello, Grandma. Daniel, how are you? I'm fine. His grandmother was silent for a moment. Then she said something unexpected. I need you to do something for me. What it? Go to the old house. Daniel frowned. What old house? The house your grandfather left behind. Daniel suddenly remembered it. His grandfather had owned a small house outside the city. Nobody had lived there for years. But why did you want me to go there? I found something, Grandma said. Daniel became curious. What did you find? I'll explain when you get there. Before Daniel could ask another question, she ended the call. Daniel stared at his phone. Something felt strange. The old house. 2 hours later, Daniel arrived at the house. It was surrounded by tall trees. The paint on the walls had almost disappeared. The windows were dirty and the garden was completely overgrown. Daniel slowly opened the front door. A crique. The sound echoed through the empty house. He stepped inside. Everything was covered in dust. There was an old sofa, a broken clock, several wooden chairs, and a large painting of his grandfather hanging on the wall. Daniel walked toward the painting. He looked at his grandfather's face. Suddenly, he remembered something. When he was a child, his grandfather had always told him, sometimes the most valuable things are hidden where nobody thinks to look. Daniel's my lad. He had always thought it was just an old man's strange advice. But no, he wasn't so sure. The strange discovery. Daniel walked around the house. He checked the bedroom. Nothing. He checked the kitchen. Nothing. Then he entered his grandfather's study. There was an old wooden desk in the corner. Daniel opened the drawers. Most of them were empty, but the final drawer was locked. Daniel searched for a key. He looked under the desk. Nothing. He checked the shelves. Nothing. Then he remembered the painting. He walked back to the living room. He carefully removed the painting from the wall. Behind it was a small metal box. Daniel's heart began beating faster. What is this? He opened the box. Inside was an old key and a handwritten note. Daniel unfolded the note. Itese. If you have found this, you are finally ready. Daniel looked at the key. But what did it open? Vocabulary lesson. Let's stop the story for a moment and learn some useful English words. Need of a saving. Savings means money that you have kept for future use. Exemple. I used my savings to pay the rent. Repay. Saving. Tu es landlord. A landlord is the person who owns a house or apartment that you rent. Exemple. My landlord called me yesterday. Repay. Landlord. 3. Curious. Curious means wanting to know or discover something. Exemple. Daniel became curious when his grandmother mentioned the old house. Repay. Curieux. 4. Overgrown. Overgrown means covered with plants, grass, or weeds because nobody has taken care of them. Exemple. The garden was completely overgrown. Repay. Overgrown. Fivast. Dust means very small pieces of dirt that collect on surfaces. Exemple. The table was covered in dust. Repay. Dest. Sisa hidden. Hidden means something that is kept where people cannot easily see it. Exemple. The key was hidden behind the painting. Repay. Hidden. 7. Valuable. Valuable means something that is worth a lot of money or is very important. Exemple. This watch is very valuable. Repay. Valuable. 8. Discovery. A discovery is something you find or learn that you did not know before. Exemple. Daniel made an unexpected discovery. Repay. Discovery. Continue the story. Daniel returned to the study. He tried the key on the locked drawer. It fit perfectly. Click. The drawer opened. Inside, he found an old envelope. His name was written on it. Daniel. His hands began to shake. He opened the envelope. Inside was a photograph. It showed his grandfather standing beside another man. Daniel recognized the second man immediately. It was his father. But there was something strange. His father had disappeared when Daniel was only 6 years old. Nobody knew where he had gone. Daniel turned the photograph over. There was a message written on the back. The truth is closer than you think. Daniel stopped breathing for a moment. What truth? Suddenly, he heard a noise. Bang! Someone had closed the front door. Daniel froze. He listened carefully. Footsteps were coming toward the study. Slowly, one step at a time, Daniel looked around the room. There was nowhere to hide. The footsteps stopped outside the door. Then someone knocked. Knock, knock, knock. Daniel swallowed. Wait. No answer. He slowly opened the door. And standing there was his grandmother. C'était RUTH. Grandma. Chesma. You found it. Found what? The truth. Daniel held up the photograph. Why is Dad in this picture? His grandmother looked at the photograph. Then she sighed. Your father didn't leave you. Daniel stared at her. What do you mean? He was trying to protect you. Protect me from what? His grandmother walked toward the window. Your grandfather discovered something many years ago. After un secret. Daniel waited. His grandmother continued. Your grandfather owned several businesses. One of them was connected to a large amount of money. Daniel looked confused. What happened to the money? It disappeared. And my father. He spent years trying to find it. Daniel looked at the old house. Is that why you sent me here? His grandmother nodded. Yes. She pointed toward the wooden floor. Your grandfather left the final clue here. Daniel looked down. What clue? His grandmother smiled. Look beneath your feet. Useful expressions. Here are some natural English expressions from the story. What am I going to do? Use this when you don't know what action to take. Exemple. I lost my job. What am I going to do? Something feels strange. Use this when a situation doesn't feel normal. Exemple. I don't know why, but something feels strange. I'm not so sure. Use this when you are uncertain about something. Exemple. I think he is telling the truth, but I'm not so sure. You have no idea. This means something is much more surprising or important than someone realizes. Exemple. You have no idea what happened yesterday. Look beneath your feet. This means to look directly below where you are standing. Speaking practice. Now it's your turn. Listen to each sentence and repeat it. Sentence 1. I have been looking for a job for 3 months. Pause. Repet. I have been looking for a job for 3 months. Sentence 2. Something feels strange. Ose. Repet. Something feels strange. Sentence 3. I'm not so sure. Pause. Repet. I'm not so sure. Sentence 4. The truth is closer than you think. Pause. Repet. The truth is closer than you think. Sentence 5. Sometimes the most valuable things are hidden. Pause. Repet. Sometimes the most valuable things are hidden. Quick vocabulary review. Let's see how much you remember. What does savings mean? Money kept for future use. What is a landlord? A person who owns a property that people rent. What does curious mean? Wanting to know or discover something. What does valuable mean? Something important or worth a lot of money. What does hidden mean? Something that cannot easily be seen. What is a discovery? Something you find or learn unexpectedly. Excellent. Final message. Daniel thought he had lost everything. He had no job. His money was almost gone. And he didn't know what would happen next. But sometimes life takes us through difficult moments for a reason. A closed door may lead to another door. A difficult day may lead to a better tomorrow. And a problem that seems impossible today may become the beginning of something beautiful. So, if you're learning English and sometimes feel frustrated, don't give up. You don't need to understand everything today. Learn one word. Speak one sentence. Listen for 5 minutes. Then do it again tomorrow. Small progress becomes big progress when you never stop. If you enjoyed this English story, Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to MysteryVerse, and turn on the notification bell. And tell us in the comments, what do you think Daniel will find beneath the floor? Write your answer in English. This is MysteryVerse, where every story helps you improve your English. Keep listening, keep learning, and most importantly, keep speaking English. See you in the next story.